Ford Performance TVS Supercharger kit will be for the manual and automatic 2015 through 17 GT owners who are looking to take their stock or bolt-on car to the next level using one of the most popular supercharger systems in the aftermarket, along with a very reliable calibration from Ford Performance. Now, when installed, this kit will turn the stock 435 horsepower GT into a 670 horsepower monster, thanks to the all-inclusive 50-state legal kit. Price point for the supercharger system here from Ford Performance will hover right around $7,000, and the install will get a full 3 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter from me, with a little bit more on that later in the video. Now, if you've been shopping your entry-level TVS setups here at AM, then chances are you've looked at this kit, and you've also checked out the Roush Phase 1 system, and might be wondering to yourself, what is the difference? They look nearly identical, and for the most part, you would be correct. Same blower, same components, as we'll cover in a bit, but with one pretty big exception, and that is the inclusion of the Ford Performance Pro Cal 3 tool here with this particular kit, which is used to upload the calibration to your ride. That Roush Phase 1 kit, on the other hand, does include a voucher, but not a device, so that is the one big difference between the two. Other than that, the kits will be identical, and that's why they share the same name badge here on the blower. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about the power you can expect when bolting up the Ford Performance kit to your Coyote. And as I did point out earlier, guys, the advertised crank horsepower numbers are when using the included calibration from Ford Performance. Now, since this video is more of a general overview of the kit itself, we don't have any in-house chassis dyno numbers with everything installed. So instead, it's been my experience with a TVS system like this to subtract nearly 100 horsepower and about 80 pound-feet of torque from those crank horsepower numbers to achieve your wheel horsepower and torque figures, depending on your transmission. Obviously, you're going to see a little bit more of a drivetrain loss with an auto when compared to a stick car. So with that said, I would say anywhere from just south of 600 horsepower to just south of 500 pound-feet of torque to the tire with this kit and corresponding calibration in place. But let's dive a little bit more into the components of the Ford Performance TVS system, and forgive me guys, I don't have every single nut and bolt on the table with me here today. Instead, I have the core or heart of the system, and that is the Eaton TVS 2300 rotor pack. Now, the TVS, or Twin Vortices series as it's known as, is an extremely popular design that utilizes a twin 4-rotor lobe pack, which then are twisted 160 total degrees, ultimately creating a more efficient flow over older style blowers like the old M122, for instance. Basically going to make more power but at lower boost levels. But getting into some of your other components with the Ford Performance kit, you're going to find the lower manifold here, which actually lives underneath the TVS rotor pack, and this, believe it or not, is actually your air to water intercooler. This guy's going to work with keeping those intake air temps down, and will work hand in hand with the included heat exchanger, which is actually going to mount to the front of your car. Now, just a heads up here, guys, that included heat exchanger or low temp radiator does not include any electric fans, and that is something prospective buyers might want to add down the road, especially if you live in a warmer climate. The Ford Performance kit does also include a twin 60mm throttle body, which is to be used with the included induction system, basically their cold air intake system, and corresponding airbox. Also, guys, look forward to an 85mm pulley here with the Ford Performance kit, which will put you in the ballpark of 8 to 9 pounds of boost or so, depending on your modifications. Now, I say that because a set of long tube headers will slightly lower your boost thanks to the restriction in back pressure, but that is something to keep in mind at the end of the day. As far as your fueling is concerned, well, Ford Performance does include a set of high flow fuel rails, along with a brand new set of 56-pound injectors to help feed that newly blown Coyote power plant. Again, if you wanted to upgrade this kit, you have a lot of opportunity. Throttle body, intake system, pulley, injectors, all of this stuff is totally upgradable with a TVS kit like this. And that is good to point out because, let's face it guys, oftentimes the urge for a little bit more power ends up setting in, and if that is the case, that is certainly doable with a TVS system like this. Finally guys, you're going to also receive all the brackets, your shiv belt system as well, all of the wiring and everything else needed to get the Ford Performance TVS system in place on your 2015 through 17 GT. Switching gears, let's briefly talk about the installation, and again, because we are doing more of a general overview of the kit itself, we're not going to go step by step here, guys. Instead, we're just going to tell you this one's going to be a full 3 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter and at least a day, maybe 2 in the shop or garage to get everything knocked out. Now, if you're not fully confident in your mechanical abilities, I don't know if I'd go trying to install this one. However, if you are going to tackle this one on your own, just make sure you have the very detailed instructions pulled up or printed out first, a solid set of tools, and again, at least a day, maybe 2 in the shop or garage to get everything knocked out. So in closing, if you're looking to take that stock or bolt-on S550 GT to the next level while also remaining extremely safe and reliable, then the Ford Performance R2300 kit will be a solid choice, and you can grab yours right here at AmericanMuscle.com.